Personal residents, when you sell them, are usually not even reported on your tax return unless you have a gain on the sale of that from when you purchased it, or if you received a Form 1099-S saying that this gain is being reported to the IRS. I often will get clients that will call me and say, hey, I sold my house, I made this money. How much do I have to reinvest in another home so I don't have to pay taxes on the gain? Well, that rule has gone away many years ago. There currently is now an exclusion on the sale of a personal residence of $500,000 for married filing joint tax returns, or $250,000 if you're a single taxpayer if you meet certain qualifications. The main qualification being that you have lived in this residence as your principal residence for 2 out of the last 5 years. And you can exclude up to $500,000 if you're married, or $250,000 if you're a single taxpayer. If you're married, both taxpayers have to have that residence as their personal residence, although only one of them may own the residence. There are some exclusions to that 2.5 year rule, that even if you've lived in a home for less than 2 years and have a gain, you possibly could exclude still some of that gain. I had the scenario arise with a client in Arizona who bought a house. The Arizona market had crashed even just recently within the last 2 years, and sold it. It was a little bit under the 2-year range and had a gain of about $80,000, and she's all worried, I'm going to have to pay tax. Well, she qualified for one of the exclusions. Her parents lived with her, and one of them had died in the home, and the mom, they just didn't want to live in that house anymore, and that is one of the exclusions. Another exclusion, that if you sell a home and have a gain and didn't live in it the last 2 out of the 5 years, that could qualify for you to exclude some of that gain, is if you had to move because of a job change. You moved over 50 miles away. Or if you had to move because a doctor said you had moved to this climate because of health reasons. Another question I often get from clients regarding the sale of a personal residence is they'll call me up and say, my parents, they've been in a nursing home for the last 5 years, and now we have to sell their home to cover, medical costs, but they haven't lived in it 2 out of the last 5 years. Are they going to have to pay taxes on the gain? They've owned it since the 1950s. They have this huge gain. And there is, again, an exception that individuals in nursing home required to be there for their primary care, they're considered as also living in any personal residence that they've had for 2 out of the last 5 years. So they would qualify for the home sale exclusion of the $250,000 if they're a single taxpayer, or $500,000 on a joint. In summary, if you have any questions regarding the sale of a personal residence, feel free to contact us at Terry Lockridge Dunn, and we would be happy to assist you.
Find real solutions for your tax planning at Terry Lockridge Dunn, or online at realfinancialstrategies.com.